This past weekend, I went to the Antique Motorcycle Swap Meet in Wauseon, Ohio to dig up more stuff for Wheels Through Time Museum. While I was up there, found some incredibly cool things that'll go on display here inside the museum, from paintings and posters to this ultra long, super cool Harley chopper fork. It's gotta be the longest one I've ever seen. So inside of the trailer here, I just unloaded a pile of stuff that's really one of the best hauls I've ever had from the Antique Bike Meet at Wauseon. Check out the artwork on this thing over here. Perfect circle piston ring display. The finest in piston ring equipment. Now this has been painted over, so if I'm really careful, this gray will come off. And it's stuff like this, guys. We go to the Antique Bike Meets, we're looking for more than just parts. We're looking for anything we can to make the museum better. Stuff comes from all over the country to meets like the Wauseon meet. You never know what you're gonna find. Little things like this are really kind of what makes the show for me. So the motorcycle parts that are out there, we're always hunting. It's things like this that show up unexpected, make a better experience inside the museum, including these VR1000s. I actually got these bikes from the fella that designed them at Roush for Harley Davidson. We're gonna do an entire show on these bikes, but we want Martin to be here because nobody tells the story like Martin. He was on the ground floor, the guy designing these bikes for Harley Davidson effort in the 1990s to go super bike racing. So incredible story, incredible bikes. Stoked to have them here at Wheels Through Time. We got some great extra parts that we are gonna go through, but first I wanna get to the old stuff. So right here in the pile, guys, you saw the perfect circle piston ring thing. Jake and I got this unloaded a little bit ago. Ultra cool display, probably from the 19-teens, I would think. It's gonna go right inside the teen shop right here at Wheels Through Time Museum. We'll start stacking parts on this thing. It's one of the things about the museum. There's a lot more in here than just motorcycles. There's parts, there's memorabilia, motorcycle and non-motorcycle related. So the more stuff we can find at Wauseon, at Davenport, at the antique bike meets around the country that we go to, the better experience this is for you guys when you come and visit. So ultra cool parts, but really one of the things I'm most proud about picking up at the swap is this carnival poster. Now, this is probably 1930s. What attracted me to it initially was the down on the bottom there, you guys see the Death Riders. We just had the Wall of Death here at the museum over our anniversary weekend. We absolutely love those guys. One of the first things I found at the meet, so I'm walking up and down the aisles, it's about 6:37 in the morning on Thursday, boom. There, this carnival poster shows right up. 1,000 miles an hour. Doesn't get any cooler. Ghost Train. Somebody told me Mike Wolf actually found one of these on one of the Pickers shows. So unused, I think. So one of the neat things about this, right here, there would be a stamp probably of the circus name, or maybe the location, you know, like have a city on there or something like that and a date. So unused, undoubtedly original, really cool piece. I actually got this through a fella. He bought it from the very same guy my dad bought these gates from probably 30 years ago. So really neat how it's all kind of connected. But so on to the parts, guys. I found some incredibly cool stuff at the meet. So a lot of people might walk up and down the aisles of a swap meet like Wauseon and think it's piles and piles of junk. When you know what you're looking at, it's a pretty incredible sight to behold. Barns and garages from all over the country empty out right there at the fairgrounds. It's acres and acres and acres of antique motorcycle parts. So I want to take you guys through some of the stuff that we actually found there. And I'm looking down and it's just cool stuff everywhere. So right in front, a pair of 1936 to 9 Harley Davidson Knucklehead gas tanks. The hardest gas tanks to find. It doesn't get much cooler than this. I've got the perfect project inside shop for these tanks. As you can see, this one has the original paint underneath. So this is a Venetian blue, and that stripe's Croydon cream. we're going to do our best to expose this. Who knows, we might even do a show about it. I probably worked on it about 45 minutes already and managed to uncover some of that first factory Harley Davidson paint. So, these incredible, guys. So what we got next, we're into the 30s Harley Davidson stuff. These are the most incredible 1930s Knucklehead saddlebags I have ever seen. Harley Davidson Big Twins 45s. Very rare to find original leather from this era. As you guys can see, it's got the brand right here, a couple little flowers. The straps are intact. It's got the original wing stamping down on the bottom. The leather is soft as brand new. When I saw these, you know, I'm not even a saddlebag guy. I keep saying that, but I'm becoming a saddlebag guy. So 36 bags, some that I don't have for my collection. Now, all the bikes here at the museum, all the 36s, I think we've got 6 or 7 of them. They're all kind of restored bikes, so I don't quite have a project or a bike for these yet, but I'm going to put them in the showcase. We're going to keep them oiled, keep them conditioned, and hopefully one day soon we'll be putting these on. But I cannot stress to you guys how rare bags like this are. Just incredible. So another great find, this one. 1936 Knucklehead heads. Okay, so these heads specifically are late 1936, maybe early 37 also. They're in great shape. Original valve seats have never been replaced. They don't look too deep. All the threads look good. This right here is what tells you that early head, okay? 36 and 7. They had this big boss here. This is a small port head. They ran them 36, 7, 8, 9, 4 years, but they only put the plug in them for the first 2 years. This is the stuff I live for, guys. I'm telling you, pieces like this. I mean, I'm looking at that little pile of stuff. I'm thinking, let's build a bike. So what else do we got here? Found these over at a buddy's. A pile of bullet lights. I mean, these things are tough to find as they are. There's a whole bucket full of them. Everyone's got their lenses. They all look in pretty good shape, a little crusty. Who knows, we might put these things on a bike or something like that, just as they are. So do something wild and crazy, like make some Coney Island stuff. Make sure they can see us from space. So guide bullet lights, guys, tough stuff to find. We found these ultra cool dice. Maybe we'll make shift knobs. Maybe we'll just have a mean game of Yahtzee. 1939 Harley Davidson WLDR cylinders. So in 1939, Harley Davidson beefed up their high performance Harley 45. So 45 cubic inch bike started in 1929, and they kind of refined it and improved it over a number of years. We've got a great collection of Harley 45s inside the building. In 39, on their high performance model, they beefed up these fins here so they could cool better. So Harley 45 cylinder, it's kind of puny, it's kind of small. These here, these big fin cylinders, very difficult to find. These things have been worked over inside and out. Looks like they've been clearance for a mag here. What else? 1949 Harley stainless muffler cover. Guys, hard part to find. This is a cover for your muffler. So it's like, let's mount it on the VR. So cover for your muffler. It's made out of stainless. It's missing the back clamp, but very hard part to find. You can imagine these things would fall off running down the road. Bike gets taken apart. Muffler cover comes off. It gets dented. It gets dinged. This thing looks maybe not new old stock, maybe new old stock. It's got some shelf wear. No, it was mounted. It was mounted once before, but it's in incredible shape. I've got one of these on my 50. Don't have one on my 49. So saw this at the swap, said, gotta have it. More parts. What do we got? Harley handlebars. Okay, so you guys probably been following along with us on the 41 FL build. Okay, it's the cruiser green bike. John and I have been chipping that thing along, getting closer to dropping that engine in. These are the original bars off of that 41. Very rare Hollywood handlebar. This is what we call a Hollywood bar with this top reinforcement over the top. These are original old chrome, inline setup. Tough stuff to find. They're brazed construction here, so when they slide the tubing into this center casting here, they braze it instead of weld the ends. Just slip brass right on in there. Tough bar. They only did these through, I think, the mid 40s. These had a big cut right in the middle, like somebody had just taken a hacksaw and cut out about a 1/2 inch piece. So my pal Tom Faber, who does all of our handlebars, welded some stainless back in the middle, fixed it. We'll knock that down, blend it with the rest of the bars. They're too dirty for a restoration, but too nice to restore. I know it probably doesn't make a lot of sense, but when we find parts like this, we like to leave the patina just as it is. So this set of bars is actually a restored set of handlebars from Tom. So I got this center casting from my pal Matt Olson. It's an original casting, so right here in the middle, original piece. It's in line exactly like this one. The handlebars on this though were all bent and bunged up, so Tom took them, cut them off, remachined the holes, built new handlebars right out of that original casting. So these are what we're going to chrome and put on that 1941 Harley FL. Big step here. We get these chromed. I got a few other pieces, and we'll be back in business on that 41 and making big progress. So I got parts all over the ground here. This is actually a piece for next year's raffle bike. It's an intake cup. Been needing this. It's one of the things that's been holding me up on the engine. So we're going to reinstall on the set of heads, make those heads perfectly functional. A VL axle. This is a fender brace piece for my 37 UL. We got a pair of Firestone. It looks like these may both be unused, but this is definitely unused. This is a Firestone Chevron tread, 419. This is a new old stock tire. It's never been mounted. No cracks. This actually has military stamped on it, which kind of had me puzzled because I don't know any military bikes that actually use 19-inch wheels. So ultra cool tire though. Great racing tread. We ran these on our Fred Ham bike when we did the 24-hour endurance run. What else do we got in here? Top motor mount. Very difficult to find. They're always broken. A 4-fin 1936-9 cylinder for a Harley overhead. Most difficult cylinder to find out of all of them. A little crusty, a little rusty, but it's got a ton of meat. This ought to clean up really nice. Have a 37 that this is going to go on. One of the parts that's been holding me up on that project. So excited to move forward on it. So more rocker arm stuff. Valve cups, really cool. Don't wake my snake up either. He bites. Really cool. 36, 7, 8, 9. Harley Davidson 6-inch air cleaner backing plate. You guys saw last year at Wauseon we got the cover, and this is like the second piece to that. I got this from my friend Tyler out of Dayton. Different guy than I got the cover from, but they're actually kind of best buds, so really wild. I don't know if this came with that cover originally or not, but gonna go on a great bike here at Wheels Through Time. Over this way, oh, I forgot one more part. Oh man. So we're restoring that 41 FL, the Cruiser green bike. It's right over here in the corner. So on that bike, I told you guys about these ultra rare, we call them squashed birds. So these are 1941 and 42 only. It fits right here on top of the fender and hugs down right against the fender. These are so nice in original chrome. I couldn't bring myself to restore them. You know, you got to strip them, you got to re-chrome them. So, you know, our guys, the Olsons up at Carl's Cycle Supply in South Dakota, Matt just finished these prototype squashed birds. They're unplated. They look absolutely perfect. Let's set them next to the originals here. Oh man, so what Matt did was he made a die, incredibly costly process to be able to re-stamp these. He said I think he made an aluminum die, hard chromed it or something. I don't know if it was aluminum or not, but he went through the whole process to recreate these absolutely identically down to the location. You see that offset, how these are offset a little bit? They're not perfectly in line. He nailed them absolutely perfect. We're gonna see how they fit. Matt, I can't thank you enough. If you need a pair of these, call your guy at Carl's Cycle Supply, and these should set down absolutely perfect. Unbelievable. All right, back to more parts. Let's see what else we got out here. We're getting near the end of the pile. So like I said, I brought some of my own bikes just to cruise around on. We brought the TT Knucklehead over there. Fired that thing up. People loved it. We did a bunch of burnouts. I think I walked one off. It was about 150 feet. Brought the 36 scallop paint job just to show off. And of course, Rusty Crusty Restoration 39 there. Put a couple 100 miles on the 39. So yeah, more parts for restoration. Some floorboard mats, rubber tank strip for the 41, horn bracket for a 37 I'm working on, overhead oil line, fuel line, 36, 37, 38, 39, and then this they used all the way up through I think 1941. Billy makes a killer. Billy at Strangebird does great job replicating rare Harley stuff. He's our fuel and oil line guy. Perfect plating, perfect construction. All this stuff fits perfectly. Billy also makes the spotlight brackets for I think all the way up through 1945. They might have used this spotlight bracket on the Harleys. So what else? Really cool Gypsy Tour 1937 trophy. It's the coolest trophy I saw at the whole meet. 1937 Buckeye Motorcycle Club. We're right there in Ohio, so very cool. KR wheel, tons of parts about the VRs, guys. This is what I'm most excited about the whole meet. And Martin and I had talked on the phone. Martin visited the museum about a month ago. Met up with him right in front of the teen shop, and we hit it off, talked motorcycles for hours, and he told me his background. He says, you know, I used to work for Roush, was the project manager there, that did the VR1000, worked with all the top racing guys at Roush and Harley Davidson. So we're going to be chatting with Martin, hopefully real shortly, doing a whole video series on the VRs, exactly everything that we're looking at here. Aluminum sprockets, God, these things are light, incredible. VR oil tanks, some of them new old stock. Clip-on handlebars, we've got fork stems, axles, clip-on handlebars, Olin's fork trees. What else do we got in these cardboard boxes? See, these bikes are so incredibly light. And Marchesini wheels made out of magnesium. The engine's part magnesium, part aluminum. Ultra rare body work. These bodies actually are really cool, man. This is the body work that Doug Chandler raced at the Daytona 200 in 1995. Both of these actually have double fuel caps. One's for air, one's for fuel, and they had this big fixture, jam it full, quick fill gas tanks. So this bike is concept bike number 1 from Roush for Harley Davidson, built in, I believe, finished in 1993. This one is actually number 9. So this bike is one that they used to pile parts on. As they're developing these parts, they use these bikes for fitment. Very, very cool stuff. Monster carbon fiber air box. These parts are light and strong. Look at the size of that air filter. It's like bigger than the filter on your truck. Another oil tank. We've got rear foot peg mounts, gas caps. Very cool stuff. So they actually had pivots on these swing arms that you could change the location of the swing arm. So this stuff, I mean, we're dealing with old stuff here. This is like a rocket ship compared to the things that we normally deal with here at the museum. JD Harleys, Indian Power Pluses, old board track racers with no brakes and no clutch. I mean, this is the pinnacle of Harley Davidson's racing development. nothing ever made anything like it. I think they said 160-ish horsepower, 200 a mile an hour Harley Davidson. So when Harley Davidson saw the Lucifer's hammer bike that Don Tilley was racing in the 1980s, they decided we want to go superbike racing. So on to Roush to have them develop the VR1000. You know, at this time too, I mean, that was a tall call, you know, to even attempt, because at that time you're racing against top Japanese manufacturers, you're racing against Ducati. You know, these are the fastest and most advanced motorcycles in the world, and here we've got the beginning of Harley Davidson's attempt to compete on that level. So always a top dirt track program, Harley Davidson. I mean, led dirt track racing since the teens. It's been really them and Indian were the top. A little bit of Honda in the late 80s and 90s, and but Harley Davidson's XR 750 is considered by many the best dirt track bike ever. This is a whole new ball game. We're going to get with Martin. He's going to tell us all about it, the development, the decision making, the obstacles that they hit, who was racing these bikes. You know, he told me on some of these tires, they've actually got names on some of these tires and what they were doing. These are different compounds, all of them, and you can see, look how chewed up they are. Some of these, where are we at here? Number one, this is Jimmy Felice, 10 laps. Look at that tire, it's chewed up as it is after 10 laps. I mean, it's so soft. Big power, very cool stuff. Chris Carr, Jimmy Felice, Doug Chandler, Duhamel. Amazing. Just really cool. Cannot wait to get these on display inside. So what do we got? More throttle body stuff. We got computer stuff. Too much to list, guys. Big week at Wauseon Antique Bike Meet. Came back with some incredible stuff. Thanks for helping us unload the trailer. Checking out exactly what we're dealing with, what's going to be on display. A lot of these parts you're going to see on bikes right here at Wheels Through Time in the future. So you guys, also wanted to tell you, we're launching a new YouTube channel. It's the Wheels Through Time Archives. It's about how this place was built. So we've been doing streaming video stuff since before YouTube was even a thing. I mean, 2004, 2005, all the way through the creation and buildup of this place into what it is today. We got hundreds and hundreds of videos from our archives that we're going to start sharing with you guys. Videos of my dad building some of the coolest bikes inside the museum, unearthing some of the rarest motorcycles anywhere in the world. So make sure you subscribe, Wheels Through Time Archives. Head over there now, check it out. Thanks for supporting the museum and doing what you do. Check out our annual raffle. Help us keep this place growing, building for the next generation. I mean, this is American history, guys, and it's got to be preserved. Thanks a ton. We'll see you next time.